Welcome back to the Abundant Harvest Homestead. I'm Papa Pepper, and in this video, I'm going to show you something I just thought of recently. I'm going to give you a DIY on how to do it. And periodically over the years, I've been known to describe homesteading as basically living a third world life in a first world nation. I once described homesteading as living a more third world life in the midst of a first world nation. And while that's not attractive to everyone and not all homesteaders would fit into that category, it kind of represents more of my mindset and part of what I bring to the table when I embrace this lifestyle. Meaning that there's a lot of creativity, a lot of upcycling and using free sources and evaluating what you've got on hand when you attempt to make life better for yourself. And with that mentality is basically seeing things as resources rather than as problems. So I like to look around, find everything that's available to me, view it positively as a resource, and start there. Attempting to fit into our life, use it for different things, and see what works. And right now we're preparing for spring. We're getting things ready, and I'm in the chicken pen right now. One thing about our chicken pens, and we do let them out and some other things periodically for different reasons throughout the year, but we have a designated area with a building for each of them and a yard for each of them. And because they're in there the majority of the time, nothing really grows, and you wind up with bare earth around. Now I am planting some trees like this pear and other ones to kind of give them some shelter and have a high nitrogen source of food for these plants. But a lot of the earth just turns into basically barren mud. And with that, inside the coops, this will turn to barren mud too. So what we like to do is to add things. This is actually just some hay that was on the outside of a round bale, so it wasn't ideal for feeding our livestock. But here we have the nesting boxes, we have the ground here, and then we have the ground outside too. And I'm not going to be one to always take money, go buy straw, throw the straw in here, and do things that way. If there's something we can generate ourselves. So I'm going to show you what we're generating right now and how we're going to use it in the yard and how we're going to use it in the coop, in the house, and in the nesting boxes. Right now, part of what we're doing is changing some things on our land. I'm phasing out some of what we inherited when we bought this property, crafting it a little differently, trying to make it better for us, better for our animals, better for our family. And with that comes some tree removal. Now, tree removal can be dangerous, and I got to be careful with my children, you know, making sure I know where they are. I can't just cut down giant trees and have them drop wherever. I've got to be careful myself. Recently, trying out some new methods, seeing some different things people do. Not sure if you guys have ever seen one of the shorts that show this method, but that method worked rather well for me. And with phasing out the trees creates wood. Now, we heat with wood primarily. I will use the propane furnace a couple times, usually throughout the winter. But predominantly, we make our own firewood here. We burn our own firewood here. That's how we heat our home. It's something I can do here on my property and really helps reduce the cost of living while keeping us warm. Also, using wood for a number of other projects. Recently made a cutting board, rehandling some of my older tools, even picking up old tools at like a thrift store or a secondhand store or a garage sale, ones with busted handles, and then crafting some new ones ourselves. Working on that right now. Carved my first bow off of some wood on the property here. So it's not that anything goes to waste, but I want to get the most out of it. So at the moment, some of the logs that we get are rather big and they need to be shrunken down to be able to fit. Now this I actually cut with the chainsaw. And a lot of people, you know, cut them to length and then split them by hand. But with the invention of like the log splitters, a lot of people don't split them by hand anymore. So they're using a motor and they're using gas, you know, fuel to do it. So that's what I'm doing, but I'm using my chainsaw at the moment, and it's a byproduct of doing that I'm going to use in the chicken pen. So what I have here in front of me is just a giant pile of basically wood chips, and these are ones I specifically made with my chainsaw by cutting these logs. I will say I have a new chain on my chainsaw that's really going to help. If you're not very good at sharpening a chainsaw, I'd recommend using a new one for this type of stuff. I've got it stacked up so I'm not going to come in contact with too much dirt or rock or anything like that. And also, if you have a chainsaw and you're ever heading somewhere to help someone, I recommend spend the 20, 30 bucks, put a new chain on there, and just show up and get things done really quickly rather than kind of having a subpar function when you're over there to help someone else. So when I have a log that's a little bigger than I would like, I can chop this with an axe, I can split it, but I can also just lay down my chainsaw like this and work my way through it. When I do that, those teeth will pull all the way through here and they'll make some really nice long cuts, and in doing so they whip out all sorts of this stuff. Now the cool thing about a chicken pen, duck pen, guinea pen, turkey pen, whatever you got, I've got all those, is they make a really high nitrogen manure, and this takes a lot of nitrogen to break down, so I think it's really a good combination to use this to build up stuff in there that then I can remove, and it has a beneficial effect on my garden or on my fruit trees or something like that. So we're gonna use this as a bedding in those nesting boxes. We're also gonna use it in some of the muddier spots of the yards, the little chicken yards, and that way it kind of firms things up a little bit and begins to mix with it in the yard. Now I've done a little bit of this in the past, but this year as we head into spring, I just really want to generate some. I want to do some. I'm not thinking I'm wasting that much time or energy or effort, because I'd have to spend a lot of effort, you know, slamming these if I was going to be splitting them all. So I like doing this. A lot of people just use a log splitter anyway, but I get this byproduct, which I think is really going to help. It's really going to be cool. It's going to make their things warmer for the rest of this winter, give them a good environment to lay their eggs in, and then as it breaks down over time and combines with that manure, it's really going to function well and make a good soil amendment. And this is just a big fluffy pile. There's so much of it here, and this is predominantly oak, red oak, but there is a little bit of black walnut mixed in. Now, I'm not sure if the giglone is going to have a negative effect over time. I don't think it's going to affect the poultry, but also sometimes with black walnut, it can actually be used to help with parasites. So I'm mixing some of that in here, and I'm going to show you how I make it real quick rather than just describing it to you. And then I'm going to have the little peppers come, grab some of this, and take care of those animal pens, and we'll show you what that looks like. You want to grab a big old bunch? So, Pinky, did you guys get it where you want it?
I think so.
Yeah, let's see what you got. Hey, chickens, I hope you guys, there was actually a lot more than these four in here a second ago, because they like changes to their environment, right? And inspecting them. So they had put some hay here before, but they added a bunch of this stuff, and they did grab some of the recently, oh, hey, she's in there already. One's in there. So they grabbed some of our eggs, which come in a multiple, variety of colors here. But you see how nice that looks? And this is something, you know, completely natural from our own property. As it breaks down with the poop, it's going to be really good for us. They like scratching around and pecking it anyway. I'd be hard pressed to be able to come up with something better than this, especially from our own property, right?
Yeah. This hen already laid her egg. Hey, stop it. But she's still in here, but look at her eggs she laid. It's all white speckled.
Very nice.
Has some wood chips on it.
Getting them all collected, daughter?
Yep.
What do you think about those colors? Not a white egg to be seen, huh?
Yeah, I mean, this is as white as we get.
Thank you, girls. I hope you guys like this. We'll bring some more in and fluff it up because we got a while left of winter and cold temps, especially around the perimeters and stuff. Do you want to go grab an arm load for me quick?
Of the
Yeah. So anyway, that's the latest one of just trying to improve the way that we use what we generate here on the homestead. It's kind of fun to cut wood like that anyway. It can jam up a little bit by the bar. My steel definitely works better than my Husqvarna, but I like it. I think it's going to be great. We like, you know, cleaning these out every spring, adding the stuff to the compost or around our fruit trees anyway. So it's going to be a good way to have something that works well with the high nitrogen just manure that these chickens are adding, and we'll let you know how it goes. But what do you think? Have you seen anyone else do this? I hadn't, so I just kind of thought of it. Would you do it? And anyone else ever cut wood like that? I'm thinking of cutting some hickory like that just to generate some stuff for the smokehouse. I gotta check the smokehouse. And Red Pepper went to go check the lamb, huh?
Sorry, she went.
I think so. I think so. But we'll see you guys next time.
Pinky
Pop out.